know there are a lot of questions, but we are unable to take everybody's question. But because Ebenezer Donko has called me out publicly, let me take him.
All right, thank you very much. So my name is Eben. I work with YFM Ghana. YFM Ghana has always been one of Ghana's biggest when you talk about media, especially with relations to the youth.
Please go to the question.
Now, the question is, I work in the creative arts industry. Most of the times, we get to see our celebrities or people in that industry only when it gets to elections. That's when politicians want to use them because they do know that they carry certain power and they can actually help communicate. Now, my challenge is that what do we have for the creative arts industry? So many things have been said. One of the things that they often look at is tourism, year of return, beyond the return, which everybody can attest to the fact that it's been successful. Now, what are we doing with our movies? What are we doing with our music, our internet? Because today, we can change the narrative and perception about Ghana with movies. But unfortunately, our movie industry is kind of on a decline. When you talk about actors and actresses, we get to hear of them when they're on their sick beds. There's nothing for them. Any kind of pension scheme, any kind of thing for them. What do we have for the creative arts industry? Since we hold a huge power to actually change the narratives of this country, and the creative arts industry also gets to employ thousands of people from tourism. Look at all the tourism sectors across the country. I remember speaking to one of the tourism sector ministers about...
Please wrap up, Eben.
Sure. You get to some point. So my question is that what do we have for the creative arts industry? It shouldn't just be what we say. What are practicable steps we have for the creative arts industry?
Thank you, Eben.
I think that the issue has come, I think, in the area of the creative arts. I think it's a very, very, very important area for our economy. It's one of those areas, frankly, that, over the time, we have not really invested enough in. But my own view is that the returns to investment in this area are huge because we have just natural born talent in this country. Talent that, cannot be really replicated in many areas, and talent that we can get a lot out of in terms of the economy and so on. So my general view of the creative arts and area and tourism is that it's a major growth pool for the economy, an area that we should pay attention to and invest in. If you look at what we've done so far in the area of the creative arts and so on, in the area of governance, we've set up the National Film Authority to evolve the dynamics of sustaining and culturally conscious film industry. We passed the Creative Arts Bill and set up the Creative Arts Agency to develop the creative arts industry. The LI on tourist sites was also passed, and we've completed the draft on the creative arts education policy. In terms of infrastructure, which is usually the tourism and the creative arts tend to go hand in hand. We've completed the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, the upgrading of the Kintampo Falls, the Bunsu Eco Park, the Nzulenzu Village, Salaga Slave Market, Pikworo Slave Camp, Tafe, Atome Monkey Sanctuary, Bonwere Kente Museum. All of these works have been completed, and we have ongoing projects in the Nationalism Park, Taneboasi Sacred Grove, Gees Park, the Creative Arts School, and Dentura Chechewere Eco Park. These are pieces of infrastructure that we are working on. Of course, in terms of marketing, as was noted earlier, we've instituted the Year of Return, the Beyond the Return, December in Ghana, Ghana Week in DC, Washington, DC, and Ghana Week in South Africa. And we are providing support for various agencies. Grants have been given to Menchia Museum, Bisara Bewa, Pan-African Heritage Mission, the film support program for film producers, also by the Ghana Tourism Authority. You have the film pitch by the National Film Authority, and the support for several festivals and events, including the Chalawote, Little Havana, Rhythms on the Runway, Westside Festival, and so on. So I think that if you look at some of these things that we've been doing, there's been quite a bit that has been done, and we need to do quite a bit more. I think that one of the areas that I was having a discussion yesterday, I think, which has just also been mentioned here, essentially to do with a collection of royalties, and how it was brought to my attention yesterday by someone just in a discussion. And I think that is something that we have to, because it looks like the nature, from what I hear, some of our artists have designated people either in the United States or somewhere to do the collection of the royalties and so on. We need to have a better approach and help Gambro in this area. I think that we're going to use tax incentives, including the flat tax, to incentivize private sector investments in tourism and the creative arts. We want to implement an e-visa policy for all international visitors to Ghana to make visa acquisition fast, and roll out a visa-free policy for all nationals of African and Caribbean countries visiting Ghana. We'll also establish, in partnership with the private sector, a streaming and digital management platform for Ghanaian content developers in the creative arts industry. And we want to also establish a travel protocol service for the creative community to enable artists, performers, and other creatives honor international performances and shows. So we want to do some of these things to really help the creative arts. I think for me it's a growth pole. It's an industry where if we really pay attention to, we can do a whole lot.